Alright, everybody. Um, Today I wanted to talk about a few things. This is vlog number 20, I think. Somewhat of a vlog, mostly dedicated to getting chapstick off my lip. Mostly dedicated to these online courses that I'm working on, and I want to thank one of our viewers, Justin, for sitting in with me last night, uh, somewhat early this morning. It kind of carried on for a while. He helped me sit in and get used to the software a little bit, and then actually just got done doing the same with my dad, kind of going over some of the tools and such as well. So I'm getting a good idea on what approach I need to go and what I need to have ready. For this, they're going to be a lot different than my videos, since my videos a lot of times are on the fly. I'm making them up as I go, end result in mind, because I've already said this is what we're doing in this series of videos. But as far as the particular videos, each individual video, I'm kind of doing it on the fly, so this is a little different. Some of the challenges that I'm noticing are not necessarily challenges, but yeah, I guess they're challenges. Things that I may not have thought of before I entered into this, and that I've noticed from the 2 test runs that we did. They're going to help me also with my one-on-one sessions a little bit, help me understand a little bit from the other end, from the viewer's end, what I can change and how I can approach things a little bit differently. But first I want to talk about the courses that I'm going to work on. If you haven't read from the Facebook page, that I'm trying out some software, GoTo Learning, I believe it's called. It's from the same people that make GoToMyPC and all those other GoTo things, GoToMeeting and whatnot. The software, I like it quite a bit. It's pretty robust. If I had it my way, I'd write my own using like Google Hangouts or something like that, but I find that I don't have time to do that, and maybe one of these days I will, but why not use something that's already built? So what I'm going to do, since I'm using the trial right now, and I can't necessarily afford to pay for it right now without without actually having some students and for these courses already set up, and basically proof that I can make it pay for itself at least. So I'm trying to get some courses out this month before my trial runs out, and the courses I'm going to offer are going to be at the very least, I'm going to offer a basics for websites, where we talk about how to build a website using HTML and CSS only. We will talk about what a web page, site, whatever, either whatever, we're going to make that interchangeable really, but what it actually is. What a browser is, what is going on there, and that would be talked about in the first session. We wouldn't necessarily have to go into too much detail on that, assuming that it really just depends on the class I have, the students, and what their preliminary knowledge is. But I want to go that basic if I have to, where we just what is a web page in general, just so I can get that out there, and after that then start talking about HTML and what the language does, what it doesn't do. Why is it so simple? What makes it simple? Because I mean, it'll look like Greek to many people, but it is actually a very simple language to understand once you do understand it. Then talking about CSS and how we can use CSS to style it. So we won't even get into using things like Photoshop and images or anything like that, outside of maybe tossing a stock image in maybe, but other than that, we're gonna make a layout and page, potentially even site, totally with CSS and HTML, and we'll make it look slick. So you know, it's not going to be just some generic. Well, maybe somewhat generic, but you know what I mean. It'll be slick at least. It'll be all CSS, and we'll give it some flair. Since unlike my videos, we will actually be using Notepad++ in these sessions. At least for now, until I decide whether I want to use something else, but I want to use free software. I'm still figuring out what I'm going to do, because I like to offer graphic design or Photoshop basics, and I gotta figure that one out, since really Photoshop isn't free, and though you can get a 30-day trial, I have to assume that everybody taking my course would have not already used that trial, and not have the ability to follow along for free, and I don't, you know, unless they want to pay for it, which you can now pay by the month. So I don't know, maybe that's an option, I don't know. But anyway, so at the very least, the courses will be web-based. If I have to do maybe one course for basics and one course for dynamic, maybe like the first level of advanced web design, or web development at that point, we would call it. What I'm kind of, the naming scheme I'm kind of going with, which I've mentioned on the website, or sorry, on Facebook, is kind of like website level 1, website level 2, pretty basic as far as my naming, but straight and to the point. We're gonna talk about how to build a website, and you know, level 1, 2, and 3. By the time we're at level 3, you should be able to create a website using graphics and all that, and know how to take something from Photoshop and figure out what needs to be exported and what can actually be done in CSS. And then, you know, we move into dynamic websites, level 1, level 2, level 3. So what I'm thinking is I'll do website, or maybe I'll call it static website, level 1. I don't know. Still working on that, but basically I'm going to do the level 1 courses, I think, for both, and have those ready this month. So those of you who are savvy enough to make a website with HTML and CSS and want to start learning how to utilize PHP and MySQL, we'll work on that in the level 1 of the advanced class. And then for those who are wanting to start from the basics, even if you already know a little bit, but you really want to get a firm grasp, you know, sometimes, you know, it's easy for us to know or work within something and get by, but not totally know what we're doing, and maybe this course will help you kind of solidify your knowledge of CSS and HTML, and we're going to talk about HTML5 and CSS3 as well, so that's good as well, also. And we'll talk about the kind of past, present, and future of things, HTML and CSS, and what we used to have to do as far as tables, which I won't harp on that too much because that's pretty old, but at least talk about how we used to have to use tables, and now we use divs and CSS, and with HTML5 coming in, the use of divs is going to be a little less because they've got predefined tags in there, where we would have used a div. Now they have a tag created for that, such as article or section and things like that, or nav and header. So we'll talk about that and why those are good, why those are bad, pros and cons, and whether you need to actually use that method or not, or if you can get by using divs still. So those are the kind of things we talk about throughout the courses in general. And so I just wanted to run that by. Now that like I said, the software we'd be using is Notepad++, which you could always use Dreamweaver if you have it. I might do specific, depending on demand. If I have enough demand, I might do a specific version of the course using Dreamweaver instead of Notepad++ for just those who have access to Dreamweaver. And then any other software packages should the demand be there. But now the challenges I've thought of, or I've noticed, is that unlike myself, many of the people that are going to be teaching don't have a multiple monitor setup like I do, and like most developers do, which, granted, I like to say you should. If you're going to get into this, it's a good investment and something you should consider, if not now, but down the road. But since a lot of people don't, and a lot of people might be watching this, on a laptop or a tablet even, then I realize that I'm going to be doing a lot of lecturing, not as much talking while you follow along with me, whereas that's where the videos are kind of nice. So I'm going to do my best to compensate for that, work out the lecture or the whole structure of a class in a way that we can make sure that people can get their hands dirty, and I'm not just talking for an hour and then hope that everybody caught everything that I talked about. So I'm going to figure out a way to make it as interactive as possible, where I discuss a few things and then we might do Q&A right away, or do some sort of do it go ahead and do it yourself for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. Ask questions during that time, and then once everybody's caught up, we move on and I lecture for another 10 minutes, something like that. I want to definitely make sure that everybody can be as hands-on as possible, so that people aren't just listening to me ramble on and then having to try and hopefully they took good enough notes or what have you. These sessions will be recorded and available to those who have paid for them, who have registered. You can watch your actual class. You won't have access to other people's classes. If I'm teaching the same class to another group of students, you wouldn't have that. But you have access to watch the particular class that you watch, so that way you can go over it. If you do have other questions, or you may have missed something, you have the ability to go back through and rewatch, hear everybody's questions, hear my answers, and watch my lecture again. And that will be available. I haven't decided how long I'll make those available after each session. There's a certain amount of space we're allocated through go to my training, or go to training. So I have to be careful with that. But either way, point being, I'm going to try and make it so that it accommodates everybody from skill level to equipment and learning style. So that's really all I wanted to discuss here. I might do another vlog about other stuff unrelated. Just kind of took up the whole vlog here. So that's it. I hope that I get this stuff out to you guys soon, and we can start doing some courses, and I hope it goes well. That way we can go ahead and purchase the software and keep using it, and keep adding to the course list, because that's going to be great for all of us involved. So thank you.